What's up, Elite Army? This is your kinda well, kinda toxic host, Sarah Rittendale, bringing you another episode of Wellish. A topic that keeps on coming up in our discussions about self-love is how we need to have our needs met consistently. And if we're not doing that, it's going to be really hard for us to love ourselves to our full potential. Now, loving yourself consistently does not mean loving yourself 100% of the time. It's an unrealistic expectation for you to think that you, your life, the people in your life will be perfect and never screw anything up. That's not what this is asking for, but it's making sure that you are putting yourself in the position to have your needs met as consistently and as much of the time as possible. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be really hard to reach the level of self-love that you truly can attain. And it's going to be really hard for you to become the version of yourself that you know you are capable of becoming. It's really important to know here that it's up to you to make sure that your needs are met. It's not up to anybody else to make that happen. You can communicate your needs to other people so that they know what it is that you need and they can try to better align themselves with what it is you need, just like you would better align yourself with their needs to make sure that you guys can stay in each other's lives. But if you are trying to do that, if you're trying to communicate your needs and they're consistently not being met, you're going to have to find that in some other area of your life. You're going to have to navigate to a place that you are having your need met. Otherwise, you're, again, not going to reach this full level of self-love that you can reach, and you would end up sacrificing yourself and sacrificing your needs and sacrificing who you are for the benefit of somebody else, when really you have to trust that there are people and there are things out there that will fulfill you and will meet your needs. You don't have to feel bad about what your needs are or try to change them. They are what they are, and that's great. Choose your needs. That's okay that you want those things, that you need those things. They are valid. Don't let anybody make you feel like they're not. So in other words, if you need to spend quality time with your significant other and you consistently are communicating to them that you would really feel loved if they planned something for you guys to spend time together, and they keep yesing you along and then it just never fucking happens, you're going to want to try to find that need somewhere else, trusting that there is another person out there that can provide that for you, that will want to provide that for you, that it won't feel like you have to twist their arm to make that happen. If you have a need to make more money, but you keep making shit money and never putting yourself in the position to make more money or to change the way that you make money or to, add more jobs on or to do better at your job and then ask for a raise or to seek out other jobs, you're not going to be able to love yourself in the full way that you really could because you're not showing up for yourself. You're not allowing your needs to be met. So, what is the best way to learn what your needs are? I have to tell you that this is not going to be something that you listen to Wellish and then you grab your journal and you write down what it is you have to do in order to know what your needs are, or write down all of your needs because you sat down for 20 minutes and thought about it, and now this is what you're going to do, and you're going to live your life according to this list. That's not how it's going to work. Your needs are always going to change and develop and grow as you continue on through your life. To be honest, a lot of the time we learn our needs from them not being met, not from us sitting and planning ahead of time what they are. It's the experience of things not feeling good or things making you feel uncomfortable, and that's what makes you realize, it triggers you to recognize what it is you truly need. I also want to say that I, nor anybody else, don't care what your needs are. As long as you are not hurting anybody, it does not matter what need you have. There is no need that you're supposed to have, or no need is going to make you a good or a bad person. Whatever need you have is valid, and you just need to find a way to bring that into your life. Make sure that it is met as consistently as possible so that you can live the life that you want to live. Again, we're all living on a big floating rock. Doesn't matter what your need is. It's just the way that you feel. It's what makes you feel good right now. Maybe it'll change in the future. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll develop. Maybe it won't. but it's what you need now. So you have to ask for that need and work to have it be met. If you feel that you need to sleep with a shit ton of people to make you feel good, more power to you. But just be aware of the way that it continues to make you feel and could potentially change or develop. Like maybe eventually sleeping with a shit ton of people will actually make you feel really fucking lonely, and you'll have to change and develop that need. So being aware of what makes you feel fulfilled and what doesn't, and giving yourself the space to recognize that and change it if you need to. Learning your needs involves self-acceptance and self-reflection. And I have some tips for you to try to suss out what you think your needs are. Again, a lot of them are going to come from experiencing life. This isn't going to be something that you sit down and you write down what your needs are. This might make you think about some of them, but you're definitely not going to tackle every single need that you're going to have for the rest of your life just in this little episode and listening to it and thinking about it for the rest of the day. You're going to experience things and recognize your needs. So that is something just to be aware of. It's not so much of you sitting down and trying to figure them out, but you being open to them and aware that that is something to pay attention to, so that when things do start to make you feel bad or uncomfortable, you can say, is that a need of mine? Do I need to feel appreciated in my friendships? And they're not doing that. They're not making me feel important. And so I can't continue this friendship, or I have to communicate to them that I need to appreciate this friendship. Is this friendship important enough to me to have the uncomfortable conversation and tell them that I want to feel appreciated? Yes. Okay. I'll communicate that to them. Okay. Now I've communicated it, and now they're still not doing it time and time again. What am I going to do? I think I need to end the friendship because my need is consistently not being met with this person. But there are some other areas that you can really put some intention and thought into to get to know yourself better that will help you recognize it a little bit easier when those situations come up, and you don't just have to wait for bad shit to happen in order to know your needs. Really reflecting on your past experiences. Now, I told you not to whip out your journal, but by all means, do it. I mean, take a moment to think about the way you think about things and the way you feel about things and what you believe. The way that past experiences have made you feel. What things make you feel good? What things make you feel uncomfortable? What things make you feel embarrassed? And what, at the end of the day, from those things is the core need that is deep-rooted in that. Really being mindful and being present with your emotions and being aware of how things make you feel makes a really big difference. And I think that's the really big thing with this, is just being able to have it in the forefront, or at least somewhere close to the forefront of your mind, so that you can remind yourself on a consistent basis to ask yourself, is this a need? Because if you don't think that, you don't think about what your needs are, it's not something you're aware of, you're just going to keep living life feeling uncomfortable and bothered by things, but then never being able to put yourself in the position or communicate what your needs are to try to get your needs met consistently. You have to first really get to know them, get to know yourself, and become aware of them. And you're not going to do that if you don't remember to ask yourself regularly about your thoughts, feelings, experiences, and ask what need it is that would have made you feel fulfilled in those moments. Another helpful thing is like identifying patterns. Like if there's something that you see yourself consistently do, or positions that you see yourself consistently in, what's that about? Like figure out why you continue to repeat a pattern. Why every time you get into arguments with your loved ones, you lash out at them. Why every time you talk to people and have social interactions that you feel really drained. Why do you keep ending up in relationships with people that treat you poorly? What is the need that you are trying to gain from putting yourself in these positions? Or what need is consistently not being met that leads to your unhappiness? Maybe you're trying to figure out what to do career-wise, and you keep putting yourself in these positions because you think that it's what you're supposed to be doing, or what the kind of job you have to have in order to make enough money, but you always gravitate towards something else that really makes you feel full. what is that thing? Like maybe you are in a finance job and you fucking are crunching numbers all day and you are so drained, but you really, really feel full when you're babysitting your niece and nephew and all of their friends and managing their birthday party. Like maybe you should be in more of a teaching role or something along those lines. Really figure out what your patterns are, figure out what you gravitate to, and ask yourself if that's something that has to do with a need that you're trying to have met or a need that you would like to have met. This is a scary one and one that I definitely don't really use very often because I don't like it and I've worked very hard to not care about the opinions of other people. And not that this is necessarily caring about their opinions, especially if you ask somebody that you trust, but going to your loved ones and seeing if there's something that they see in you that you don't necessarily recognize. This is going to be something that you're going to have to be good at taking constructive criticism. You know, I always feel like attacked when people fucking try to tell me something about myself. But if you go to talk to them and ask them, you know, what do you think something that I need is, or what patterns do you see me falling into, or it's just asking if there's anything that they recognize that you feel that would really help you. It definitely is an interesting and probably, that's the thing. I was gonna say probably pretty accurate way to kind of figure it out, but it not necessarily is, because you have to take everybody's opinion with a grain of salt. They don't know you and your experiences as well as you do. So you can go and ask them for like a little bit of insight, and maybe them saying something will trigger a thought of your own or a thought for a need of your own. But it's definitely an option, but there's definitely other options out there if that sounds fucking traumatizing to do that. You can also, I think a good one is putting yourself in different positions, like trying new habits and activities and seeing what things you like and don't like, because it'll point out what your needs are so that you know more things to do that meet your needs and more things to stay away from that don't. I think a really important thing to here is to practice self-compassion. You know, be kind to yourself when you're trying to figure out your needs. There are no bad needs, like I've said to you 100 times, and there are no needs that you're supposed to have. And if you figure out a weird one, or you're having a hard time meeting them, or you feel like you keep trying to have this need met and you just can't figure it out, just trusting the process and trusting that you will eventually figure it out and that it's a need for a reason. And if you can really get to the root of that, you know, maybe it would help you, but also just knowing that it is what it is, and that's okay too. So allowing yourself to have that self-compassion and kindness while you're working through it is really going to allow you to move through it a lot quicker and smoother than if you're tearing yourself down while you're trying to figure it out at the same time. Really getting to know your needs is going to develop such a deep and meaningful relationship with yourself that's going to be monumental for your self-love. Embracing your needs will allow you to live authentically, honoring who you truly are and who you truly want to be, instead of constantly trying to fit into societal norms and be somebody that you're not and fit into places where you don't belong. It's really going to allow you to step into the best version of yourself and really love who you are, because you are showing up as your true self more often than not, as consistently as you can. And the more you do this, the more you will actually feel fulfillment and happiness. Thank you so much for listening to day 20 of the 28 Days of Self-Love. Make sure to subscribe to the show so you can tune in tomorrow for day 21, where we're going to be talking about tackling those negative thoughts that just will not go away. Thank you again so much for listening. I love, love, love talking to you guys, and I really love all of your feedback, and it's so nice to hear the ways that the 28 days has really been helping you, and honestly, it's really been helping me too. So I'm right there with you, and I appreciate you so much. Make sure your day kicks ass. Don't forget you're elite as fuck. I will talk to you all tomorrow.